and you had another link. I can have a look at it quickly.
Nuclear weapons and hold the world hostage.
I'm curious about the CIA because most people think it exists to protect national security, and that gets said a lot, but I wanted to know.
It doesn't. I won't go into all that. I made entire videos about it. But yes, it had ideologues at the very beginning that after the World War II thought they were fighting Soviet Union and did all types of crazy stuff and basically destroyed U.S. currency by flooding the world with dollar bills that were backed by our gold. And we didn't have enough gold to back all those dollar bills. And ever since then, the deep state has been about covering up that fact and propping up the U.S. financial system so it doesn't collapse.
Whose security exactly in whose nation? During World War II, the U.S. built its first spy agency, the OSS.
And they don't mention that the ESF was the hub of the U.S. black budget. That should be a very important part there.
Now it's soldiers with Wall Street lawyers, and they built it around one idea, that what's good for American businesses is good for America. And when the war ended, Congress shut it down. 2 years later, the same guy started the CIA, same people, same mindset, new name, secret budget.
Yes, but the agency financing both of these is the same. It's the ESF.
And this time, almost nobody watching them. After the war, Truman said, don't bring over Nazis who were criminals. And the CIA brought over 1,600 of them anyway. Scrubbed their records, gave them new identities and American careers.
Yeah, I mean, if Israel truly controlled the government, why did they take on all these Nazi war criminals?
They called it Operation Paperclip, the most famous being Werner von Braun, who ran the Nazi rocket program using concentration camp prisoners as slave labor, and then became the father of NASA and got a crater on the moon named after him, which does seem like a successful rebranding.
Yep, it's a crazy...
Alan Dulles ran the CIA from 1953 to 1961. His brother was running the State Department at the same time, and both of them had personal financial...
I love the song, by the way.
ties to the United Fruit Company. So when Guatemala's elected president tried to give farmland back to his people, and that United Fruit claimed the CIA did a coup, 200,000 Guatemalans died in the civil war that followed, and United Fruit kept its land because apparently...
Yep, read Confessions of an Economic Hitman for more detail on this type of exploitation of the rest of the world.
That's what we were calling national security when McCarthy tried to look into the CIA. Dulles broke into his Senate office, fed him fake intelligence, and ran the story through Operation Mockingbird, a network of journalists on the CIA.
Yeah, I actually have those articles, the Mockingbirds articles. You need to pay for them, New York Times, to get them, but it's crazy how extensive their network of basically everyone who was a major journalist was on the CIA payroll.
Payroll, the 25 American newspapers.
They then moved it off budget. ESF ran it directly. But yeah, and they use non-profits nowadays and everything to achieve the same goal. Major journalists have supplemental income from other sources.
And wire agencies, and when the press still got too close, they just wiretapped the journalists directly 24 hours a day and kept a list of every senator, every White House aide, every Pentagon source who was still talking. That same playbook ran in Iran, Chile, Nicaragua, the Congo, and Afghanistan.
Iran-Contra, setting up the dollarization of the world.
Elected leaders remove friendly dictators and stop.
Yep. Under the guise of fighting communists, we basically wrecked all these countries and got them to use the US dollar instead. And that's how we export our inflation, and how we ended the inflation that was running out of control in the 1980s.
All rebel armies secretly funded, and when Congress specifically voted to cut off Contra funding in Nicaragua, the CIA sold...
Okay, now they should mention the Exchange Stabilization Fund, because that is one point where even the U.S. press, it was known to keep financing the Contras after Congress voted against it. Right?
Ran through Israel, took the money, funded them anyway.
Why does everyone go so much out of their way to not mention the Exchange Stabilization Fund, even when it's a conspiracy video? It is the heart of the deep state.
Drugs back on the same planes, which is efficient, I guess. From the very beginning the CIA had a secret arrangement with Israeli intelligence run for 20 years by one man, James Angleton, who was all supposed to be the person protecting the U.S. from foreign spies. And when he died, the heads of Mossad and Shin Bet gathered in secret in Jerusalem to lay a memorial stone that reads in memory of a dear friend. When any of this got looked into, the same people kept coming up. The CIA planned the Bay of Pigs invasion of Cuba, told Kennedy it would work. It didn't. Kennedy fired dolls for it, then told the people around him he wanted to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it to the winds. He was assassinated the following year.
Actually, it's that is true. That happened, but 2 months, I think, before he got assassinated, he said he wanted to redo the Brentwood system, and which would have ended the Exchange Stabilization Fund, the heart of the deep state. He basically attacked the heart of the deep state 2 months before he got assassinated, and that, I think that's a much more relevant point.
Lyndon Johnson appointed the man Kennedy fired to lead the official investigation into Kennedy's assassination.
Trump Sr., the one-term president, he was reportedly involved with Kennedy assassination, worked for the CIA.
George H.W. Bush ran the CIA, then helped run Iran-Contra as vice president. Then as president, let everyone off the hook. His attorney general, William Barr, told him to pardon them all. The same Barr who used to work at the CIA, whose father, Donald Barr, served in the OSS, hired a college dropout named Jeffrey Epstein to teach at an...
Yep. That's connection. The Epstein class is everyone in this video.
Elite school without a degree, and wrote a science fiction novel about elites keeping humans as sex slaves. And William Barr came back as Attorney General the year Jeffrey Epstein died in a federal jail.
Yeah, and he betrayed Trump in 2020 election. He was helping the Biden administration, his Justice Department, helping Biden administration craft executive orders months before the election. And he didn't investigate any the accusation of voter fraud. Yep, he was he's deep state as they come.
The camera's broken, and the guard's asleep.
Yep.
So just to recap.
The one thing I'm certain is that Epstein didn't kill himself. Either killed or possibly he's still out there somewhere. I don't know which one.
Wall Street lawyers built a spy agency and called it National Security. 1,600 Nazis got new American careers and called it science. The CIA ran a media network to control what Americans believed and called it journalism.
Mockingbird, the Mockingbird Network.
They did coups on 4 continents for corporate interests and called it democracy. They ran weapons and drugs when Congress said no and called it off the book.
And the way they ran them off the book was the Exchange Stabilization Fund, the Treasury super secret slush fund.
And the same families have been running and covering for it for 70 years and calling it public service. And now the Epstein files are out and half of them are still missing or heavily redacted. And they're calling it compliance oversight is being dismantled, and they're calling it efficiency. And the people asking questions are being called the threat.
Yep.
I'm just curious how many of the things we were taught to believe were written by the same agency we've been funding our entire lives
It's a banger of a song.
without being allowed to know what it does.
Yeah. And on that note, go to my channel, playlists, whole video from Market Skeptic website.
This video?
No, you go to the actual playlist, sorry. Here, what I've been afraid to blog about the ESF and its history. It goes into all of this. If you ever wanted to, like, for example, learn about Mockingbird.
The ESF and the propaganda process. An American that reads one of these books would not know that his thoughts and opinions are being shaped by an agency of the United States government. The CIA failed to reveal the names of propaganda books published since 1960.
Well, you have a look at it. That is the... After years of research, what a conclusion I came up with is that ESF, that's the heart of the deep state. And all these conspiracy theories videos, like we just saw, never mention it. And this will be on YouTube, a funny little, well, I don't know funny, but an interesting short little song video. And like and subscribe, come watch on Kick or Twitch, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.